Dolly knows what's up. Dolly knows what the kids want.
I hope no one else is doing a bit, but I'm doing a bit.
Daddy's got a pod.
I'm Casey Kasem, and this one's for the perverts.
Join us in our strange ritual.
That is time traveling love smut.
I can only say horny in one season opener.
A medium amount of fun and an extra large amount of sweaty.
From the minds that brought you Giraffe and Amerisaur.
No regrets, no masters.
I got dick jokes to make, man. Leave me alone.
This is good. This is good for anyone.
This one's going to be weird. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Hello, and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how Marvel Rivals is going to do more to promote B and C tier comic book heroes than any MCU cameo ever could.
I think the only thing that tops it is probably like when Marvel vs. Capcom came out. I think that was the last thing that promoted B and C tier Marvel heroes this much.
Anyone big Nova Frost fans, or what's her name?
It's Luna Frost, I think.
Luna
And
Frost.
What about hit movie New Mutants that heavily featured magic?
Yeah, all 12
True.
people that saw it definitely learned about those B and C tier heroes. But this has a bit wider reach.
Hey, I know we did a listener survey. Is that anything? Should we talk about it here?
Thanks. Yeah. We keep talking about it at the end of episodes, so nobody's done it yet. So, hey, at the top of the episode, it'd be really cool if you would do our listener survey for the end of the year. It's going to help us make this the best podcast ever next year. And it'll be the best because it's exactly what you want.
Eat your heart out, the McElroys.
Yeah.
We'll get them.
Can't call us daddy. That was a Call Her Daddy reference. It wasn't
It was good.
anything.
No,
Hey,
that
was
had
okay.
legs.
yeah.
That was
Okay.
all
All
right.
right. Great.
all right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Anyway, listener survey. It's in
Take the
show
survey.
notes.
Tell us what you think about Nova Frost. Luna Frost.
Yeah.
Luna
big
Frost.
Luna Frost heads rise up.
If anything happens to Jeff the Shark, I will kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Yeah, I care more about him than anyone else.
Isn't that the one from the Suicide Squad?
No,
No,
that's
that's
King Shark.
King Shark.
Andrew,
the
can
Shark.
you just
Oh,
search
okay.
Jeff the Shark for me real quick? So
Jeff
you
the
can,
Shark is a land shark puppy. And
Yeah.
again, I would die for him.
Jeff the Shark rules.
Oh, he's really cute. Okay, I'm back in.
There was a hate campaign on X the Everything app against Jeff the Shark for a minute.
Of course there was.
Because his alt is mean in this, and people were calling him a millennial industry plant and saying bad things about him. So
That's really funny.
I'm here to say I would die for Jeff the Shark.
The things the internet has decided to hate suddenly with no explanation. Jeff the Shark and Lawrence the Band. I don't know if you've caught any of that online. Everyone
I've
hates
also
them.
seen that. More understandable than Jeff the Shark.
Anyway, this is where a segue would go if I had one. If you're listening to this episode on release day, then it's December 24th. So maybe you're getting into the holiday spirit. Maybe you're contemplating, or balancing the thought of, do I spend time with my family or do I fake a sudden illness to stay home?
You still have time if it's the latter.
Still have time. Maybe you're trying to find a new place to scream into because, let's face it, the void's been full for years. Regardless of what your holidays end up looking like, there's one thing that you can always count on, and that's your good friends at Debate This talking about obscure gaming peripherals. That's right, it's the 2024 Peripherals episode. Horn noises here, or sleigh bells.
All of us made
couldn't know
arm
or
motions
care.
and no noise. That was great.
We wanted to let Todd finish his sentence.
7 years in a row, we've pulled off a shitty peripherals episode. How do we do it?
Because it's an endless well.
Can I just, real quick, I'm sure that we'll talk about this in the post show more, but I need to say right now, I do not understand how every single year I enter the same query into Google.
And it's different every time.
Every year, it gives me the same 5 listicle articles, but all 5 listicle articles have different things than the year before.
It's truly amazing.
See, this was the first year I had to pick mine and then think about it in a van all day today.
Sure.
And this was the first one where I had to go through a couple listicles to not see some repeats. So
Interesting.
maybe I need to see what your search
What you're querying.
settings were. What you're querying.
Yeah.
What are you querying?
I truly feel like I saw at least five, like major North American console released peripherals that came out in my lifetime that I had never heard of this year when I was Googling this.
All right.
I think what I find that helps is you just change the adjective every year. So like crazy video game peripherals, weird video game peripherals,
Kooky
bonkers video game peripherals.
Obscure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, so for the uninitiated, if you haven't picked up yet, for the past 6 years, we've taken time each winter to find these weird, interesting, kooky, zany, whatever adjectives we're using, and sometimes smelly gaming peripherals of yesteryear. Typically, the prompt is there's like a terrible Secret Santa style gift exchange that one of us is going to end up with one of these terrible things. But let's face it, going into 2025, we need something a bit more hopeful. That's why we, all of us together in unison, are proud to announce that Debate This HQ, a subsidiary of Omnicore International Incorporated LLC, is thrilled to launch a new program. Following the success of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program, that program that everyone knows about, that I didn't have to explain to anyone on this call.
Yeah. Can you do a tight 5 on for everyone else on Imagination
not
Library?
Not for any of us, but for
I
everybody.
definitely know what it is.
Yeah. A couple years ago, Dolly Parton, who is the benevolent saint of everything, started doing a program where she would just send free books to kids. You signed up, and up until a certain birthday, your kid just got a free book.
Wow.
Get it till your 5th birthday. Now, did Andrew and Matt not know what this was?
No, I knew what this was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I had never heard of it.
Matt hates libraries.
I was going to say, I know, Matt hates libraries, so that would have made sense. It was Andrew. I was surprised.
I just perpetually live under a rock and don't know anything.
So, since Dolly Parton had so much success with the Imagination Library program, we are going to be launching Debate This's Cool Controllers for Cool Kids. Now, kids is spelled with a C for the alliteration purpose.
Cool,
obviously.
Cool SIDS from Final Fantasy.
Or as we call it, the DT Quad C program. And it is guaranteed to be a success. But listen, we're not going to get anywhere if we don't have some pitches over what controller we are going to equip each and every child in America with. So, joining me today to mass produce plastic for the masses is Kyle, No Child Left Behind Harper, Andrew, the whole ass Dare program Henderson, and Matt, basically every program that called a 7-year-old gifted way too early in life, Cole.
Raise your hand if you were personally victimized by all 3 of those things.
Ding.
Hey, it's an audio medium, but I'm putting my hand up.
Yep.
It's quad ding for the quad C, the DT Quad C program.
Quad Q for the Quad C.
One thing that I've learned about my good friend Todd Thomas is that he will bend over backwards Valdo style to lock in an acronym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Todd loves him an acronym.
Yeah.
DT Quad C came to me like a fever dream in the middle of the day today. And
I don't know why.
Scribbling it down and circling it with a red marker.
He filled multiple notebooks. Shannon is worried.
She walked in and I was doing the Charlie from What's Always Sunny, Pepe Sylvia pointing at things.
Yeah.
Anyway, not important. DT Quad C program. We're giving kids a controller, every last one of them. So let's just get into it. What peripheral are we giving every child in America for the Cool Controllers for Cool Kids program? And, where is it from? What was its original purpose? Anything else fun about it? We'll go ahead and kick it off with Kyle.
Yeah, Todd. So, back at the beginning of the year, we all realized, let me back that up a little more. Back at the beginning of the year, we did our What's the Best Dice episode, which you, our glorious host, Todd Thomas, won with the Pyramid of Pain, the D4, and the realization that everything in life boils down to one of 4 choices.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I have not been able to shake that thought from my head in the past 365 days, or however many days it has actually been since we've recorded that. It has been living with me. I've internalized it and found it to be true time and time again. That is why, Todd, I feel the DT Quad C program needs to give every child in America the buzzers. These controllers, these peripherals go with the game Buzz that was released on the PlayStation 2, 3, and PlayStation Portable. It was a series of quiz games that basically was bar trivia, but on your PlayStation. Let me drop a pic here.
So not to be confused with You Don't Know Jack, Seen It, the myriad of other multiple choice trivia games that came out on consoles.
The main difference being Buzz came with controllers for you to input your answer based on the colors that match buttons that match the colors on screen. And then you had the big red button that buzz in to answer first. Todd, we're going to use these with every game.
Just every game.
Every
All
game.
of them.
Wow.
Every single one.
I'll get
Holy
into it
shit.
more. But buzzers for the kids.
The dude game.
Okay. If I know one thing about our friend Todd Thomas, it's that he loves bar trivia.
That is true.
Love. That's the thing. How much of a surprise is this? How loud is it? And does it smell like dirty mop water?
Todd, what if I told you could have the bar trivia experience in your home without any of those things?
Okay, wait a minute. Kyle, you might have fixed bar trivia by taking it out of the bar.
Whatever beers you have in your fridge and no bar patrons.
Man, other people are kind of the worst part about going to a bar. So that's
Aren't they?
Now,
I do
I
agree.
do see there's an image in
No, you don't.
our note.
This is scene at erasure.
Yeah, patrons, you can also see our show notes if you join the $10 tier. What just happened was Kyle put a loving picture of his Buzz controllers, and then someone put the Scenic controller, which
A
looks
cheap
eerily
knockoff.
similar. Cheap
Really?
knockoff.
Which would have come around the same time, which I owned by the way.
Cool for you,
Oh,
man.
so we have bias.
Yeah, bully for me, yeah.
We have bias here.
Yeah, a little bit of bias. But that was different. That was 4 individual controllers with 1 button. Whether this is 4 controllers with 5 buttons. So I get the premise. I get
Yeah.
the gimmick.
I gotta
okay.
say, if you would have brought 4 controllers with 1 button and told me you were going to use that for every game, I don't think I would have given you the time of day. But if you're showing up with 5 buttons, I'm at least going to let you try.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
You could also play this game with the Guitar Hero controller.
I was gonna say this is just begging for an awesome games done quick, is what this is.
Yeah, sure is.
This is a good start, Kyle. I like this. Feels like it's got some. I was gonna say some legs to stand on, though it is just a blob of buttons. But this is a good start. I like this.
I mean, what is a controller if not a blob of buttons?
We've brought blobs of buttons to this exact podcast.
And boy, Todd, do I have a blob of buttons for you today.
Oh no.
So back in 2002, Capcom released a game for the Xbox, the OG Xbox, that was at the time the definition of a single child, an only child rich kid toy.
So you had
Steel
2.
Battalion. So I had 2. Steel Battalion is an arcade shooter where you pilot a mech, very similar to other games at that time. You've got Mech Warrior, Mech Assault, Armored Core, other mech games. You get it.
Insert other
I feel
mech
like you
games
said
here.
the same thing twice.
I mean, they are much like Tekken and Street Fighter. They are the same game with a different code of paint.
Mech games are the Taco Bell of games.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
Mech Warrior,
you mix the
Mech
same
Assault.
4 ingredients different ways.
Yep.
Combat Warrior, Combat Assault, Mech
Yep.
Combat, Assault.
We all know what
Combat.
we're doing here. I'm moving on. Okay, so but what set Steel Battalion apart from Mech Attack and Assault Mech, and also what jacked up its price, was its proprietary pack-in controller, the Mega Jockey 9000.
Dude, this thing
Is that
so
actually what it's
stupid.
called?
That is actually what it's called.
That rules.
Can we get a picture of this bad boy?
I am going to get a picture. Please hold for applause.
While Andrew does this, have any of you guys seen this? We've talked about this controller on this show.
Yes.
Not maybe in a peripherals episode, but we've talked about this. This thing was heinous.
So, people at home who aren't looking at the image, I want you to imagine if you will, a DJ turntable, but then add 2 flight sticks to it, and then add 3 foot pads to it.
It's a step up from a flight simulator joystick,
Yep.
but it's not quite someone built a custom flight simulator rig in their home theater.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a commercialized flight simulator rig.
Do you remember how much this cost at launch?
I do. So believe it or not, what do you guys think, just off the top of your head, at 2002 money, what do you think this cost?
$250.
$149.
I was going to say 200.
Todd's got it. Price is Right rules at 200 MSRP at launch, which would be 356 today, adjusted for inflation.
Oh my God.
Holy smokes.
Which, thinking about it, I'm like, that's not that bad.
It's not that bad with adult spendable money. It's not that bad.
yeah.
And again, like, man, if I was 10 years, 15 years older in 2002, would this have had its own
the Steel
table?
Battalion,
1,000%, Kyle.
the Mega Jockey 9000.
Yeah, man. Because even watching videos, I was like, this fucks.
Yeah.
This fucks real hard.
We'll talk more about it in the post show. I've seen this in the wild.
Yeah.
Same.
Andrew, I have a question. What
Yeah.
does the Mega Jockey 9000 improve upon from from Mega Jockeys
8,000?
1000 through 8000?
TBD. Good question.
More jockeys.
The math is still out there. So anyway, so we talked about this is $200 at launch. Now, given that this bad boy cost nearly as much as the console on which it played, having a copy of this game with the associated controller was like having a standalone DVD player in 2002, a symbol of privilege. And because of that, because it was synonymous with rich, spoiled kids, the internet instead decided to mock it. It became the epiphany or the epitome of privilege, like over, like ridiculous spending or whatever. Like, no one's going to buy this thing, LOL. Here's the thing about big, chunky plastic gaming shit made in the early 2000s. That's just a lot of plastic sitting around. And that's just a lot of plastic that doesn't go anywhere. So with this high price tag, you can imagine Capcom wasn't moving nearly as many units as they could have had Steel Battalion come out at a normal $50 price tag. Ask anyone who's purchased a Guitar Hero or Rock Band game. That plastic has to go somewhere, most notably in the local dumpster near your house. So, seeing as many people aren't buying too many games for the original Xbox, Dolly, because I'm guessing Dolly, is the bit that Dolly is getting the stuff? If it is, that's what's happening.
We're
ripping
modeling
Dolly
it
off.
after what Dolly did.
I wrote this. I didn't know what we were doing, so I wrote this as like, I don't know, we're doing Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. The notes weren't there when I wrote this, okay?
You could ask us. We literally talk all the time, bro.
Literally all the time.
But I forgot.
I don't know what could be more clear. Like, how could I be more clear about the DT Quad C program?
We're leaning into it. I was working with Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton,
Big
famously big fan of
Steel
Debate
Battalion.
Yeah,
big fan of Debate This.
Big Steel Battalion head.
Also, big Mech head. Everybody knows it about Dolly. It's two things: Debate This and Mechs. Dolly has been working with Capcom, and she's like, I want you to sell me a representative of Debate This for my Imagination Library, Cool Kids for Cool Controllers. I want you to sell me enough of your surplus of Steel Battalion controllers that every single only child aged 9 through 13 in America can have their own fully immersive mech sim experience this non-denominational winter solstice adjacent season. That is the gift unto which Dolly is given us, and we will then deliver to all of the only children across America.
So only to the only children.
Yeah.
That's a stance.
that is a stance.
Well, how else are they going to know that they're better than everyone?
The real downtrodden upon, the only child.
The ones that no one thinks about. With a game that requires this much focus and this much noodling and this much like intensive practice, not only like care for a very expensive controller, you can't put that in a house with a little brother. Can't do it.
That is really funny.
I am triggered.
I seen my time.
don't know by what. I don't know why, but I'm triggered.
I was in and out 4 different times in that pitch.
It was rough. It was
You brought me back in
pretty.
when,
it was pretty rough.
When the call out was that Dolly Parton is a mech head. I'm interested to see where we go with this.
I mean, if you had to guess, right? Like, she probably likes mechs.
Yeah. If I had to guess Dolly Parton's 3 favorite games, it's Steel Battalion, Turok 2, if I had to guess.
That's the
I'm a
good
big
one.
Turok 2 fan. Dolly
Yeah,
Parton.
and then Shadow of Colossus, because like the classics.
The song 9 to 5 is all about turning that dial from 9 to 5 on your mech controller.
This is someone stop him. He can't keep getting away with this.
Matt, it's your turn.
Yeah.
What
okay.
are we giving maybe all the kids and not just the only children?
Let me be clear. Mine's for all the kids. This is definitely not for just a specific set of kids. Any kid that it wants to sign up and benefit from Dolly Parton and Debate This Quad C club is welcome to do so. And for their sign up contribution donation of an email address that we can sell to third parties, we are going to gift them what we think was an underutilized peripheral from actually around the same time that Andrew's peripheral was released and for the same console. See, back in 2002, a game came to the PS2 called Rez, R-E-Z. It was a niche game and it had some popularity, but if you've never heard of it, Rez is a rhythm game disguised as a rail shooter. You're in sort of a Tron-like world, zipping down a hallway, shooting aliens and spaceships, and when you shoot things in time, it makes the cool electro techno music behind it go. It was awesome.
If you've ever gotten stoned and watched the Windows Media Player visualization, that's Rez.
Yeah, that's exactly Rez. It was great. Everybody loved it. And creator Tetsuya Mizuguchi, a last name that I absolutely butchered, and I do apologize. He had a dream. See, he felt like he could bring the feeling of music out of the players' ears and into the players' bodies. Now, this is a scientific thing called synesthesia, where you feel the music that you were hearing. So, to do that, Tetsuya Mizuguchi worked with ASCII to put out the ASCII Res Trance Vibrator, a USB vibrator that plugs into your PS2. I got a picture. It's in the notes.
If you're listening and you're not by a computer,
Hey, Matt.
it's not what you think it is.
Hey,
I think everybody needs to know it's not exactly what it sounds.
It's not
No,
exactly
it's
what you
what-
think it is.
It is exactly what it's not. I mean, it's not dick shaped. Like, I'm not making this sexual. It's just a vibrator.
Now, Matt,
You're not
why,
making it sexual.
why do you want to give this to every child in America?
That's a great question, Kyle. And I really don't want to give
Hold on,
away.
this cop wants
Say
to
it
know
louder
why.
for the cops.
Yeah, I'll say it directly into this tape recorder. That's an excellent question, and one that I plan to address largely in question 2. And I don't want to give too much away here, but we think that this peripheral was marketed to the wrong audience, right? Like Andrew said, if you've gotten stoned and watched the Windows Media Visualizer, you have played a game like Rez, and creating a vibrator for that game, for that audience, of course, is going to lead to unsavory usage of what is at its core kind of an uncomfortable feeling. You know, it's just like a big old plastic mouse that shakes. It's a little bit weird. And we think that we can utilize that for good. So we're going to send these out to all the kids, and I'll tell you more about it in question 2, but it's going to be really, really great, and definitely isn't 100, like it's super 100% not sexual. Don't make it weird just because it's a vibrator. This is not a sex thing. This is not a sex thing.
Having to repeat, this is not a sex thing, is a good start for your peripheral you want to give to a bunch of children.
Yeah, the shirt that Matt's wearing that says "My controller is not a sex thing" is making me wonder more than it's actually answering the question. So what we've got here is seems like we've got controllers with 5 buttons, controllers with 500 buttons, vibrating brick, and I'm pretty excited just to see what you all do with that. So let's go ahead and move on. As we know with all good controllers, what is a good controller without a good game to go with it? So go ahead and tell me what existing or upcoming game is going to be just made infinitely better when kids all across America now have access to the peripheral that is truly designed to enhance that game.
Yeah, Todd. So, as we learned from the runaway success this year of Baldur's Gate 3, the kids yearn for RPGs. And the Buzz Buzzer is going to be great for RPGs. They're not super action heavy. You're making decisions, and as we determined at the beginning of the year and earlier in this episode, every decision boils down to one of 4 answers. So, the Buzz Buzzer is going to be perfect for really any upcoming RPG. However, including the Buzz Buzzer in this promotion, in the DT Quad C program,
Thank you.
we want it to transcend gaming. We want everyone to use the Buzz Buzzer in their day-to-day life. And we're going to start that with, we're going to put it in the schools too. Your Buzz Buzzer will be tied to a child, almost like an ID, but you'll use it to answer questions in class, take your tests, do your homework. And as the children with these buzzers age and have more life experience, we will develop new ways to incorporate the buzzer throughout life, into adulthood. This is step one of bringing the buzzer into every facet of American life down the line.
It sounds so much more nefarious than it did 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
No, it's a good thing. Not nefarious, good.
Oh, my bad. I said nefarious. I meant good.
Yeah.
Buzzer, the everything peripheral.
The everything peripheral. Exactly. Thank you, Matt.
I love the hollow pitch of, oh, no, this thing with 4 buttons and then a big red button. Everything. Universal.
Everything.
Yeah.
Kyle's also implying that every RPG could be played by giving you a multiple choice of questions.
It's
So
a
like
real-
every time you menu, it's like, here are 4 options for this choice. Every time
Okay,
you menu.
Point, counterpoint, Telltale Games.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
RPG
Yeah.
is just...
This is not an RPG.
Every
That's an
RPG
adventure
is
game.
just Pokemon, but more complicated.
Okay, I guess you're right, Kyle.
This feels the same thing as everything's in Applebee's, and I don't like
Yeah.
that session. I want to move.
Every video game is Pac-Man, but different.
Yeah, I do want to move on. Andrew, what game is going to just be made infinitely better by a $350 controller to every only child?
Yeah. So obviously Steel Battalion, but that Steel Battalion is that's just table stakes. So the best way to ensure the Mega Jockey 9000 doesn't go the way of millions of Guitar Hero guitars before it is to make that the standard for all mech games moving forward. Now, again, notable mech head Dolly Parton is all in favor of this and saying every only child gets a Mega Jockey. If we do that,
there's a billboard out there with her face. I'm Dolly Parton, and here to say, every only child gets a Mega Jockey.
Yep, you get it. So, thanks to Dolly's charity, game developers can rest assured that they will always have a large enough market for the fully immersive mech piloting experience. Now, honest question, do you guys remember a million months ago at the beginning of this year, we had that flurry of games released where it was like every week a new banger. We had Tears of the Kingdom. We had Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We had the Elden Ring DLC. A bunch of other stuff came out in Q1,
I feel
early
like
Q2.
one of these things is not like the other, but
I feel like no one on this call played any of those games other than you, Andrew.
Okay,
Yeah,
eat my
Andrew
whole
had
ass.
a really good week.
Eat my whole ass. Read an article. Read an article. Watch a video. You fucking monsters.
I'm too
moving
busy
on.
playing Overwatch 2.
Shut up. Oh my God, shut up. Okay, among the list of bangers that I and the rest of the fucking gaming industry agreed that were very good was a beloved, yet slightly overlooked if you weren't looking at it game, also made by From Software called Armored Core 6. Now, imagine if the MJ9000 was standard across every home featuring a single kid playing by themselves in their room. How many more units would Armored Core 6 have sold? A lot more is the answer.
How many units did Armored Core 6 sell, Andrew?
Not as many
Probably
as it
not
could
enough.
have.
I feel like Armored Core 6 did
It did pretty well.
better than expected even.
It did pretty well.
2.8
Core
million
5.
copies.
Yeah, it did pretty well. Now, here's the thing. Could have done better had it not been limited to a boring-ass controller. I think we can all agree on
That's
that.
what the nerds at R&D are asking.
Now, talking about in the future, so as of recording, we just got done with the Game Awards, which celebrated a lot of the bangers that happened earlier this year. Not that you hooligans would know about them, but one of the trailers shown at the Game Awards showed a new game called Mecha Break, which is an anime-inspired mech game. It's basically multiplayer Gundam Wing. Looks dope as hell. The whole thing is, it's like PvE and PvP co-op, or PvE co-op, PvP mech battles. Cool. Build your Gundam, customize it with whatever armaments and build out you want. Now imagine you're logging in, instead of Overwatch 2, you're logging in for game night with your buds. You whip out the Mega Jockey 9000, right? And it's mech time, baby. You pour your whiskey, you pour your beer, you pour your non-alcoholic drink. I don't care. You do you. and
This is a
you're
children's
working through.
program.
Eventually,
We're
you'll-
giving these 2 children, yes.
we're-
I'll remind you of that in a minute
merging the
here,
lives
Matt.
a little bit. Yeah.
Only children get to drink earlier than children with siblings.
You're a 12-year-old drinking your brown liquor. You're hanging out with your buds on Xbox Live, and you've got a 3-panel workflow to manage on top of designing your own custom mech unit, your own designing your own armaments. That's the dream, guys. That's the dream. 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night with the boys, doing a flight sim. That's it. Dolly knows what's up. Dolly knows what the kids want.
Dolly gets the
Brown
children.
liquor and mech warrior.
Dolly's been saying it for years. Give kids over-involved controllers and brandy.
Yeah, this may have lost the point at some direction along the way, but I will not admit that. I'm moving on.
I
see my
didn't
time.
think that we were going to have to make it clear that nothing we say here is actually endorsed by Dolly Parton, but I think for legal reasons,
Yeah, we might have to
may
say
now
it.
need to say that.
We have never met or talked to Dolly Parton, let alone received an endorsement of any of these statements.
Now, Rami Malek loves this.
Well, Rami Malek's in our group chat.
Yeah, he's vibing.
Yeah.
Long-term patron.
He's in the Discord.
Cool. You know what? I don't hate what you've done. It's fine.
Thanks, man.
Matt, I see one word in the note doc to tell me what you're going to do.
Well, Kyle's doesn't have any words in the note doc, so I'm ahead on him. Thank you very much.
Kept me guessing.
Yeah, so let's go back to the ASCII res trance vibrator. Again, I want to double down. Like, this is not
Hi-Fi Rush, but old, yeah.
It's also breaking my brain that it was just like ASCII. It's like the characters that you build game facts out of built built this vibrator. I don't
Right?
understand that.
It's so weird. Anyway, like, it's not a comfortable ergonomic thing. It actually came with like a little carrying pouch, but there wasn't really any instruction as
discrete
to what to do with
carrying
it.
case. Is that what it came with?
You would either put it maybe under your foot or under the seat on the couch, but nobody knew exactly what to do with this thing because at the end of the day, it was pretty uncomfortable to sit on. And that's
wasn't-
what we shut up. Let me keep going. That's why we at
Depends
the
on who you are.
DT and DP Quad C initiative, we want to help the kids, right? That's what we want to do. And we feel like the best way to help the kids through video games is to make them a little bit less comfortable with something that is on the rise and really scaring a lot of parents out there. And that is out of control online digital
we're
spending.
All
So-
of our eyes are squinted. Just like
What are you doing?
So we're going to send an ASCII trance vibrator out to every kid in America, and we're going to ask parents to help their kids install those vibrators into the seat or chair where they normally sit to play video games. And we think this is going to link up great with Roblox because the whole idea here is every time you make an online purchase, the ASCII trance vibrator is going to go off and make
Under your seat.
it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, right? Like we want to teach
Is
kids
that the word?
that it is a bad feeling to spend money online. So
I think Matt, you're going to
No, leave him. Leave him.
I don't see what conclusion
Dolly
you're
said
drawing.
it. It's not me. I didn't do this.
Matt, making purchases is a proven dopamine hit. You are now associating this vibration with a dopamine hit, not the other way around. Is all I'm saying.
And you know what? If it's uncomfortable enough, we think that it'll be kind of like shock therapy. So
Yeah, but it's
Not better. Doesn't shock therapy is
But it's
also
also
bad.
not. It's also not shock therapy. Vibrations, famously identified by the Beatles, are good, or by the Beach Boys, are good. So,
Well, no, Todd. They had to specify that they were picking up good
when you pick
vibrations.
'em up.
Yeah, when they pick up the ASCII trance vibrator, it's good.
Yeah, man.
This sucks.
Yeah, let's.
Matt, why don't you have a seat over here?
Here's what I will say. Online purchases for the youths are a problem, and anything that we are doing to address that is a noble endeavor.
Exactly.
End of sentence. No further investigation into what
A noble endeavor. It's a noble endeavor.
You know, I don't like that I said those words about this. We're gonna
Brown
move
liquor
on.
for the children.
We're moving on.
Yeah, somehow Andrew's brown liquor for the kids is still better.
Okay, so obviously, if you're going to do a nationwide rollout of a program, it's got to be big, it's got to be good, it's got to be well known. What does the celebrity endorsement and or ad campaign for this initiative look like? How are we going to market this to let the youths know that they're getting trivia buzzers and Mech controllers and brown liquor and vibration that's supposed to make them feel some kind of way?
Yeah, Todd. So, in 2017, America was gripped by a thrilling trivia game known as HQ Trivia.
Yeah.
And in 2020,
Man,
we unfortunately lost that game.
we as society lost that game.
And we as a society lost that game. However, we can bring some of that feeling back to America by having the popular host of HQ Trivia, Scott Rogowski, as our celebrity endorsement for the Buzz Buzzers as the flagship peripheral of the DT Quad C program.
Kyle, what a good pool.
Scott Rogowski.
It's really good.
It's such a noticeable voice, too.
Right? Don't you just miss that man at 7 p.m. every weekday?
Is that what he
Whatever.
looks like?
That's him now.
We will talk about it in the post show. If you don't listen to 16 Minutes of Fame, you should, because
That one.
There's a Scott Rogowski episode.
Yeah, there's a Scott. Yeah, she interviews
Yeah.
Scott Rogowski
It's
in,
so
in,
good.
in a storage unit. It's bananas.
I wasn't going to say it because I wanted
Yeah.
to keep it for the post show, but yeah, we'll talk about that.
It's really good. He owns a vintage store. He just sells his old clothes to people in LA.
Good for him.
It's great.
Living the dream. I love that callback. That's very, very good, Kyle. Great face to, if the kids weren't pumped about buzzers in their homes, they will be when they hear Scott Rogowski. Andrew.
So we've tapped a very little known actor from probably the most popular mech movie of the last decade plus. That's of course Pacific Rim.
Name two others.
Real Steel,
That's more than a decade.
One.
Transformers.
That was Real Steel was 07, which that's 20
It's
years.
more than a decade ago.
Real Steel was
Yep.
2014.
Transformers technically.
I don't think Transformers mech movie. You got to wear mech.
Okay, come back
In
to
one
it.
of the
2011.
Transformers, the guy wears a mech. He wears a Transformer.
Evangelion.
Scoreboard. That's not a live action movie.
James
yes.
Cameron's Avatar, technically a mech movie.
James Cameron. The avatars are mech.
Wait.
Next. Yeah.
Wait.
The avatars are mechs, and the bad guy
The
uses
bad
a mech.
guy, the Marines
Yeah,
use
yeah.
a mech. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
now is an Avatar mech, and I don't like that. Keep
It
going.
is. It's meat mech.
It's a meat mech.
Just like Ratatouille. Ratatouille, third movie. Boom.
He's a mech too, yeah. So anyway, yes, we all remember cultural touchstone Pacific Rim. So someone who many people associate with Pacific Rim and mechs and basically nothing else, especially other beloved gaming franchises, Idris Elba. Idris Elba is going to be the perfect spokesperson for the Mega Jockey 9000. So to drum up interest from all of the siblinged kids out there, again, out of the bit real quick, we're doing a celebrity endorsement to sell this on the kids who aren't getting the Mega Jockey, I guess.
To make them feel better about
Yeah,
not
sure.
getting it.
Yeah, because they have to buy it. So in
That's
this
how
world, in this,
endorsements work. Yeah.
yeah. So because we're doing an ad campaign and we got to sell it, even though we've already given out the Mega Jockey to everybody, so we have to sell it. So we're selling it to the kids who didn't get it, which are the ones with siblings. So the sibling kids will watch an ad campaign led by Idris Elba that will quickly set the standard of the MJ 9000 as the go-to controller for all giant robot sims and mech arcade fighters from here on out. Done. Now, the next and most important step is to demo the Mega Jockey 9000 in a premier product placement. And that's, of course, going to be featured prominently in Netflix's upcoming live-action adaptation of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, so we did it. We did
We
it.
got that.
We did it. Starring, of course, Idris Elba as Genji and Ian Armitage, the young Sheldon himself, as Shinji, who of course is patron saint to only children everywhere.
Did you just young Sheldon our podcast?
I did young Sheldon our podcast.
You have to warn us.
Yeah.
Get in the robot, Sheldon.
That sucks. What you just did, that sucks.
I don't know. I kind of love it. I kind of love getting the robot, Sheldon.
Great. I love Idris Elba, so this is great. And I despise
and love young Sheldon. You know,
nope.
Todd.
Young Sheldon
You just
head.
stop talking about it,
Yep.
and you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Bar trivia, young Sheldon. Two big
yeah.
Todd
Dolly
Thomas
Parton's a Mech
things.
head.
Todd's two
I'm-
favorite things.
I'm a young Sheldon freak. Okay. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, so we really want to target parents of children because we're sending these out to kids, but the idea here is that parents want to help their kids control their online spending. And so we were looking for somebody who could speak directly to parents, but in a way that is like convincingly youthful. And even though they're old enough to be trusted, it's still going to communicate that this person knows what's going on with the world. So we have tapped notable left-wing pundit James Carville is going to help us deliver the news of the ASCII Trance Vibrator. And it really is all going to run behind this marketing campaign about the vibes, right? Because that's what the kids are saying these days.
Yeah.
We're going
Real
for the
cultural
parents. We're not going
touchstone.
for the kids. We're going for the parents. And there's the way I said that was a little Trumpy, and I hated it. We're not going for the kids.
It was.
Listen, I just want an old bald Cajun man yelling at me about
Convincing
why
me-
this controller is good.
Convincing me to put a vibrator in my child's seat.
Yeah, because the kids are saying vibes. Parents don't really know what it means. And James Carville is going to come out and he's going to be like, well, parents, I'm not going to do a James Carville
No,
voice.
don't.
Yeah,
Please
I'm not going to do it. Parents, the kids are saying the vibes are good and we need to teach them that vibes are actually bad. So to do that, we're going to send you the ASCII Trance Vibrator so that you can help teach your kids that online spending brings bad vibes. That's pretty much the whole marketing campaign.
They call that the Raging Cajun persuasion.
That's what they call it. It's in his
Sure, man.
writer. Yeah, we had to put it on the door of the green room and everything.
That could have been the name of one of his segments over the years. And
100%.
Yeah.
He would have a hat that said Raging Cajun if he wasn't too busy wearing LSU hats on every appearance
Yeah.
he's ever been on ever.
Well, they're fused to his head. He can't
Yeah,
take them
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Like the mask.
Honestly, incredible. I'm not mad about anything except for young Sheldon, and that was even before the podcast. I was mad about him. So that's
Yeah, you're just generally
I
mad
feel like
about
you
it.
should be mad more about more than just young Sheldon.
Hey,
Well,
somebody's
I'm
slinging mud
specifically-
over there. There's no reason for that.
I'm specifically mad about young Sheldon, and that's kind of the Paramount thing here. We are going to take a
No,
break.
it's on CBS, not Paramount.
You know what? That's
Well,
good.
it's the same app now, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's all the same.
I couldn't be me.
Okay, couldn't have told you different. We're going to take a break. But before that, we do have a super secret bonus question. Listen, you can't do a nationwide rollout of anything without something going wrong. So within the first year, what is going to be the major controversy or setback that will almost nearly derail the program to distribute this plastic schlock to each and every household? And we'll get that answer when we come back from this break. All right, and we're back. So just as a quick recap, the question on the table is, what is the major controversy or setback or scandal that plagues your rollout of your plastic schlock to all the youths as part of the DT Quad C, sponsored by DP, and also Matt's answer features JC rollout. Kyle.
Cajun style.
Okay.
Yeah, Todd. So clearly, with putting the buzz buzzers in every kid's hand and our intention of having them transcend video games and be more incorporated into everyday life, we are setting up for a big child-led vote of some kind, like Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards type thing. We're gonna set up a big program for the kids to vote. And the controversy here is the not favorite to win is going to win this vote of whatever it is. And we're going to have, unfortunately, a giant Stop the Steal campaign, but only of America's 5-year-olds. America's 5-year-olds are going to be election deniers going forward after this huge scandal at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Sounds like a South Park episode.
Yeah,
It does kind of, yeah.
I don't know if they do it anymore. I assume they didn't do it this year, but for years Nickelodeon used to do the Kids Choose the President.
Yeah.
Back when presidential elections didn't feel like the weight of the world was constantly upon you. This harkens back to simpler times.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, but unfortunately, we're not in those times anymore. And
We got a bunch of J6-year-olds.
yeah, that was
I
good.
got it.
was
A
a good
stretch.
All right, Andrew.
So while Dolly, we all know, and this is established, big mech head, Dolly Parton also equally not a big fan of anime.
She
believe it
has
or not.
actually the tattoo across her knuckles that just spells out Mech. It's weird. No one really notices it because it's on
You
her
don't see
guitar
it. Well,
playing
they,
hand.
yeah, it's
She
that's
wears
exactly it.
gloves a lot.
Yeah, it's on the guitar playing hand. But she's not a big fan of anime. Now, you would think, like, traditionally those things do kind of go hand in hand, but, like, Dolly fucking hates Gundam Wing. Hates it. Fucking hates it. So, needless to say, when we did the promotion featuring Neon Genesis Evangelion, Dolly got that confused with something like a Pacific Rim, like a Transformers, a Michael Bay joint, and just assume it was like a, schlocky action movie that teens and kids would love. That inadvertently got packed in with every Mega Jockey 9000. So in addition to a Mega Jockey being under every tree, Brown Liquor being in every den, Neon Genesis Evangelion being in every DVD player.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now,
For the
granted,
youths?
for the youth, now that has led to a mass existential crisis across all Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha now is painfully aware of their own existence and their place in the world, where arguably they'll be better adults. They'll be well-adjusted adults in 20, 25 years, but they are all going to need therapy. Fortunately, every house also has Brown Liquor to help get them through it. So it's going to be okay.
I can't imagine at what age you can start to fathom the themes of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I will tell you, it's not 15. Source me.
A lot of questions parents can't answer this year.
Yeah.
At 15, Andrew's answer to what are the themes of Neon Genesis Evangelion was mechs. Mechs are the theme.
And boobs.
Mechs and mechs and boobs. Good.
Yeah.
Good distinction. there.
Again, hand in hand, predator handshake, mechs and boobs.
All right, Matt.
Todd, there was no way that we could have foreseen the misunderstanding that we gave children about the relation between physical feeling and spending money online. We had no idea that it wouldn't actually be uncomfortable. How were we to know? It's caused a big issue. People are having conversations they didn't want to have, and kids are learning about their bodies, which quite frankly is good because they're cutting a lot of that out of schools these days.
Evangelion. They're learning about all kinds of things.
So we have actually reached out. We've got some friends who work in damage control over at Paramount, and they've offered to come help us out. So you can read our full statement that we have co-authored with the folks who made the Wicked movie over at wicked.com.
It's good. Good pull.
It's great. It's great.
I'm
I've
upset.
got a lot to think about. But before we make our decision on which one of these plastic pieces of schlock we do put under every tree in every youth lap or chair, I guess, this coming year, just real quick, a closing statement, final kind of chance to say why your schlock is best schlock.
Yeah, Todd. The buzzer makes making decisions not trivial.
Everybody thinks that only children are weird and maladjusted, but imagine if all of those maladjusted only children would have had a 3-panel mech simulator controller growing up to play with. That they would have totally come out normal.
Imagine all
In that
those
case.
maladjusted weirdos having
Having a command center.
Yeah. It's a lot of DJs.
If tomorrow I tell the press that, like, we're putting Rumble packs on sale, or the new DualShock controller has touch sense, nobody bats an eye. But when I say we're putting vibrators in the chairs, everyone loses their minds.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Because they're different, Matt.
Yeah, they're not the same. I gotta make a choice before I do that. Let's get around to those good vibes, because those good vibrations.
Yeah, Andrew. I am all for min-maxing only kids, I think, is what we're doing here. That seems like what
I think so.
what we're doing here.
That's where we landed, I think.
I think min-maxing only children is probably like everything the way to go. Min-max always. So good job. Matt, I don't have anything good to say to you about this. This is
It's rough.
good job making me feel uncomfortable, I guess.
Is there one in your chair?
There isn't. No.
Kyle, your answer was very good. Buzzed is a fun answer. I'm still trying to like swallow the digest the idea that like everything in an RPG can be boiled down to multiple choice options.
It is Kyle's flimsiest argument today.
It's certainly not the most solid argument that you've ever had,
But it's not as much of a stretch as you like to think it is.
It's funny. It's very funny.
We've seen dogs play games on Awesome Games Done Quick.
That's true. Hey, I laughed, so that's the
go.
point. Hey Matt, great job. You talked about a really fun game, Rez, and that's pretty much all you did today. And it was great. Everything was good. The vibes were totally on.
Yeah, definitely. Totally on. I do want to make it clear that I didn't make my thing sexual. You guys made my thing sexual, and that's weird.
It was Dolly's fault.
Yeah.
It was Dolly's fault.
You know what you did, Matt.
Andrew, I was an only child, and if they would have marketed a game that was like, "Hey, only children, this one's for you,"
This'll fix you.
I would have
course.
blown my brain. Like I would have lost it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I like it a lot. I am sure we'll talk about it in the post show. I've seen the Steel Battalion controller at many a con that we've been to, and every time I'm like, man, what would it have been like to grow up rich? That's crazy. And I think that making that accessible is fun. Yeah. Kyle, I really still think about that everything boils down to 4 answers thing. It comes up a lot, and I also
Because
like
it's
that.
true. I feel
It's rough.
I feel like we uncovered a real truth in that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And I just really like all RPGs can be answered with 4 questions, but specifically what I like is all RPGs are just Pokemon, but more complicated.
Prove me wrong on social media, chat.
It's the picture of that shitty dude behind the table that says all RPGs are just Pokemon. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a decision to make before we put any of these things in the hands of the youths. Matt, it's not you. And I just have to start with that. And I want to say the thing that I did love is that really trying to teach children that dangerous online spending is a problem early on. Incredibly good message. 2 missteps.
Only 2?
That I can think of. One, putting a vibrating thing under their butt and saying, well, this'll teach you. It probably won't. And the other misstep was James Carville. He shouldn't be involved. That leaves me, Andrew and Kyle. Unfortunately, Kyle, it's not going to be you. I say this not because I dislike surprise trivia and the thought of mobile surprise trivia at any point in time being able to corner me in a public place is horrifying. Not that. It's when you said this could follow you throughout life. It took me back to, we all went to the same college. I took a class once where you had to take a clicker to class with you every day to like clock that you were in class, and we had to like take surveys to show we were in class. And this gave me some trauma response to that. And
See, that trauma response, Todd, is because you paid $50 or $60 for that stupid clicker. You get this for free
Dolly
when
Parton
you were a
gives this
child.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The winner is going to be Andrew. It's just worth knowing that every year when we do this, we usually try and pick specifically really shitty things, and we chose like different shitty things this time. That is a bitchin' controller. I just think everyone understands.
See the problem is I didn't know what we were doing. I picked an objectively cool thing.
Mega Jockey 9000. I've seen one of these in real life. I've played with one of these in real life. Listen, the U.S. government's going to drain its budget in Q1 next year, so that the next administration can't spend anything on anything. It's going to be Mega Jockey 9000s
across the board.
Dolly Parton, big mech head. We know what it is.
I think it would fix America.
I think it will fix America. And with that, thanks for listening in to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Threads, Facebook, Instagram, probably Blue Sky. Those are the only places you'll find us at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. Hey, we said at the top of the show, you're still here. Take our listener survey. You can find it in the show notes. It's important, and we love you. Last thing here, it's the end of the year. Like I said, you're listening to this on the 24th. Usually we say, join our Patreon. We're not going to ask that. Do a cool thing for yourself. And then if you want to, join our Patreon. But also, fun thing, next week, you will be getting the recording of our live show from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. We were able to unearth the audio. Much like the Dead Sea Scrolls from the Dead Sea, we found them, and we are here to give it to you to put it in your ears. So, I don't know what the Dead Sea Scrolls actually were. It was like the DLC for the Bible.
They're where the angels come from in Evangelion.
Oh, well, there you go. Listen to our show next week to learn where the angels came from Evangelion, and hear us do a really good job at Family Feud and not totally shit the bed. Until next time, I'm Todd Thomas.
I'm Kyle, launching my campaign to make every decision in America a coin flip instead. Harper.
I'm Andrew. Jockey. I'm begging of you, please pilot my mech. Henderson.
And I'm Matt. Mech America great again.
There it is.
That's good.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.